These are not people RT groomed as assets, they're people RT recognized as assets.
That is a really important part, because a lot of people were like, well, I mean, they could have done the same thing to leftists, and I was like, no, they couldn't. Did you see the list of things that you had to talk about? How people of color have privilege in society, the degeneracy of perverts, how white people are being replaced for voter demographics, upcoming civil war. Although these are all, yes, talking points in which if you presented it to a Tim Pool or Dave Rubin or Lauren Southern, that's the kind of things you already talk about. Reporter blasted YouTube for banning his channel. YouTube says he deleted it himself. They shut down a different channel, which he didn't post to. Last week, the Department of Justice indicted 2 Russians for secretly funneling money to American right-wing video personalities. Shortly after, YouTube cracked down on the entity behind the scheme, Tenet Media, deleting his channel and the 4 others run by Lauren Chen. The next day, Taylor Hansen, a reporter and former employee of Tenet, announced in a post on X that he had been permanently banned from YouTube. And I just got permanently banned from YouTube, Hansen wrote on September 6th in a post that garnered 2.4 million views. The text in the notice that his channel had been removed, not that it had been permanently banned. This is 100% targeted with no explanation has been given despite the DOJ indictment, explicitly stating that the show hosts reporters were victims if the allegations turn out to be true, Hansen added in a follow-up post. In the indictment, the DOJ noted the personalities Tenet Paid, Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, Hansen, and others were unaware of the scheme. In their statements, they all dubbed themselves victims of the plot. Poor little victims. But it turns out that Hansen closed his own YouTube account, casting himself again as a victim, this time of corporate censorship, a well-established pattern for right-wing actors. In the process, Hansen garnered sympathy and support for his new channel on Rumble, the far-right video platform. Since his protestations about big tech overreach, he's added almost 1,500 followers. Not that much. I bet his channel on YouTube is much bigger. But big tech didn't overreach, according to them. When users tried to view his old YouTube videos, they're hit with a message that Bellies is grousing. This video is no longer available because the uploader has closed their account, the page reads. This text is distinct from the one that appears when videos are terminated, and Tenet Media channel says this video is no longer available because YouTube account associated with this video has been terminated. After the Daily Dot reached out to YouTube to inquire about the discrepancy, a YouTube spokesperson said that Hansen closed his personal account and that it had not been banned. The Taylor USA channel was deleted by its own owner on September 6th. A YouTube spokesperson wrote, "How did you think you were going to get away with this? It's just so unbelievably bizarre to be like, oh, I got a great play here. Everyone else is getting their channels deleted, and so I'm going to pretend that mine got deleted too because big tech, and then I'm going to funnel all of my viewers into my Rumble." It's so short-sighted. First off, 1,500 extra Rumble viewers, that's what you earned through this? Was it worth it? What was his account before, I wonder? It's got to be at least like 100,000 to be considered for like the Tenet Media empire. So you lost your 100,000 like viewer YouTube channel because you deleted it yourself to try and garner sympathy. Wanted to jump in and clarify. The screenshot you shared shows the notice we sent on September 5th after the determination of Tenet Media and associated channels, including Taylor Hansen channel, with 0 uploads or subscribers. The post from Team YouTube reads, "It looks like a separate channel. Taylor USA was deleted by its owner on September 6th. So, while YouTube banned a Tenet Media affiliated channel that Hansen didn't use, the one that Hansen actually posted to was axed by him, YouTube said. Nevertheless, Hansen used the opportunity to further his own narrative about the matter. After the charges exploded in news, Hansen described them as a big smear job against an uncensored, unapologetic, and America First media company that is part of the malicious persecution of the government. But it should come as no surprise to those familiar with Hansen's work that the Texas resident cast doubt on the DOJ's depiction of Tenet. His rise to prominence began when he attended the January 6th Capitol riot, of course, and filmed the moment that a Capitol police officer shot and killed Ashley Babbitt. Wow, so he was there. A rioter who was attempting to climb through the broken window of a door. Since then, Hansen has deleted his January 6th insurrectionist, saying every member of January 6th committee belongs in prison, and described law enforcement response to the attempted insurrection as a modern-day Reichstag fire with the establishment, a reference to the 1933 burning of the German parliament building that paved way for a Nazi dictatorship. Hansen was also drawing attention to reports alleging child abuse at drag shows and describing the LGBTQ+ community as groomers. According to the Texas Tribune, Hansen's work has often prompted harassment at drag events and local businesses, including a drag brunch that drew white supremacists and a cascade of threats online. In a statement to the Daily Dot after the publication, Hansen said YouTube's version of events was false. YouTube is lying, I see. "I'm working with YouTube to figure out what is happening," claiming he did not remove his own channel. Hansen said he did not personally delete anything. "I received an email stating that I was permanently banned and could never operate a YouTube account again. Upon attempting to log in afterwards, my account no longer existed. The idea that I deleted my own channel is laughable from an independent standpoint. YouTube is far better for views and monetization than Rumble. See, I wouldn't have done this because it's too stupid. So I wouldn't have done something so remarkably asinine. So don't worry, I couldn't have done it because it's simply too foolish. No person would do that. So I didn't. And I'd already curated an audience on my channel. Now I have to restart from scratch on a platform that is significantly harder to grow on because of the government and big tech. Hansen did not provide any additional screenshots to the Daily Dot to corroborate his version of events. YouTube has not responded to further inquiries about the matter because I think it's pretty close to a case closed, right? Let me see if I can... All right, Sa. I can tell you someone who has actually had his YouTube account deleted twice. I've had both the Serfs TV channel deleted and the the Serf Times channel deleted. When it happens, it does not say this. This is what happens when the uploader, aka the person who runs the channel, closes their YouTube account. So I could do that right now. I could manually close my account, and that wouldn't mean that YouTube deleted it. That would mean I did it. Then afterwards, if I was trying to garner sympathy, I was like, hey, everybody, oh, YouTube deleted my account. Must have been for my incredibly powerful and authentic views, my unapologetic speech. They're trying to silence me because I just tell the truth. You have but to click on the link to see the guy's fucking lying through his teeth. This is so ridiculous.
Document provides later as Tenet Media. At the end of 2022, following a period of direct work for RT, Tenet's two founders were approached to work with a fictitious Paris-based investor by the name of Eduard Gregorian, a figure whose name was repeatedly misspelled by his would-be representatives, and whose name Google search returns...
Gregorian. I mean, yeah, if you're going to choose a fake name, first off, don't go with a really fake sounding ass name. And then secondly, if you are going to choose a fake name, spell the name right. That's on y'all. RT, Russia, you have to do that. I mean, everyone else is going to be like, why is the name spelled differently multiple times? Okay, whatever. It's clearly fake.
No results for. Themselves, they referred to their backers as, quote, the Russians, the same term they'd used in prior correspondence to refer to RT. There's also the fact that one founder, while awaiting a...
And we're going on 2 weeks now of radio silence from Lauren Chen, eh? Unless she's tweeted today, but last I checked over the weekend, I think it's still silence.
Response for an invoice sent to the ostensibly Paris-based Gregorian, Google searched time in Moscow. Despite this, Tenet never disclosed to its viewers that the content was sponsored by RT, and Tenet's founders never...
Yeah, she has yet to make a statement. Still the same account. Still says Blaze TV and Turning Point USA, even though you've been banned from both, but, yep.
Registered
fired,
with the
sorry, I should
General
say fired properly. Yeah, you were fired.
As agents of a foreign principal, which is, illegal. But who are those founders? Tenet's YouTube channel officially launched in the autumn of 2023, and in the year since has amassed over 300,000 subscribers and over 16 million views. I would be showing you footage of all this, by the way, but the channel's been deleted by the time I'm editing this. Over that period...
But also just a terrible ROI. If you're trying to sow disinformation, I know you're just trying to do it via any possible outlet, but to spend close to $10 million on a channel that basically garnered 60 million views, many of those I'm sure were also bought and paid and amplified, because there were some videos on Tenet before it got deleted where, again, their view numbers were just ridiculous. So it'd be like, hey, this Lauren Southern documentary has a huge amount of viewers, hundreds of thousands, and then this next video where it's just basically people on the street asking, would you date a trans woman? Well, that one only has a couple thousand, and it's it could be the inconsistency of the content. Maybe people who go to Tenet don't want to be watching the on the street stuff. They want to watch the whole immigrants are scary and evil stuff, so maybe that's why they went there. But either way, the channel did seem like there was a lot of fishy stuff going on behind the scenes.
The Cold War relic? Aren't we past that? If America bad, wouldn't that make Russia good? Well, in a nutshell, no. The flaws a lot of folks, particularly on the left, find in the US and the West, warmongering, imperialism, corruption, worker exploitation, inequality, restrictions on civil liberties, all that, are just as present, if not far more so, in Putin's Russia. You guys, it's still colonialism.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of always been my thing. It's that oh, yeah, it doesn't suddenly by default make another country good if they're in opposition to the United States just because the United States empire bad, right? It's not how the world works. Multiple countries can do fucked up shit simultaneously.
Even that who wants to sever ties to the US allied country Russia's currently war criming, after all. Research has shown that the Russian government has used these tactics to covertly interfere with countless elections and referenda in the West, with the headline examples, at least in the Anglophone world, probably being just, all of the recent US presidential elections. The motivations here being that an isolationist demagogue like Trump would be.
The social algorithms don't suggest leftist content, though. They silence it. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why you might notice a lot of lefty channels kind of seem like trash, especially the ones who are trying to weave content into it. Like a couple of weeks ago, I put out a video where, Kyle and me did clickbait in the sense that the title of the video was about Charlie Kirk. It's got a giant picture of Charlie Kirk's enormous head on the thumbnail, all that kind of stuff. People clicking on that video most likely think they're about to watch a 45-minute video specifically on Charlie Kirk. And there's a little teeny bit of Charlie Kirk drama in there, but the majority of that video was actually about Palestinian liberation. And so the whole idea is like, if I put a video and I title it and I thumbnail it and I advertise it as this is about how we need to collectively work, globally to end colonization, things like that, it's not going to get any clicks. It's going to get buried. It'll get 1,000 views or something like that. You make a video about Charlie Kirk gets wrecked by student, and then all of a sudden it's going to get 30, 50, 100,000 views very, very quickly. And that's kind of like how you hide some of that content inside the algorithm itself.
Tim Pool's podcast. Perhaps the big high-budget discussion Benny Johnson had with Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker about woke modern Hollywood and the culture war, or any of the many times Johnson joined
Why was Benny the bartender?
FNT to commentate on the same topics. Or perhaps Lauren Chen's multiple appearances on the same podcast. The video you're watching now is my third installment in a loose series I've put together this year aiming to properly contextualize the alt-right and alt-right adjacent voices in this corner of the online content.
People shouldn't care that much about Star Wars to begin with. Yeah, I mean, the shitty thing is for someone like me who, I'm a nerd and I do enjoy some nerd properties, I'm always having to play defense even if I don't like Disney or I don't like a new Star Wars iteration or I don't like how Star Wars and Disney have effectively tried to incorporate entire universes where if you watch a TV show, if you go from one season to the other season, you have to have also watched a movie in between them so that way it gets you out to the theaters and then a side plot that you wouldn't have any idea about had you not watched the corresponding film. All that, and then just the minutia of endless kind of mediocre Star Wars properties getting pumped out. That on the other end, it's by the way, there's now 50 plus videos on the internet by all these right-wing reactionaries talking about how Star Wars went gay and that apparently the Force is a gay power and that we have to stop this, and the fact that there's yet another black person as a prominent character is a problem, and so then you have to be like, okay, well that's not a problem. Why can't there be people who criticize this media without always getting real racist or homophobic with it? You can criticize media independent of being a fucking bigot freak, but they can't because that's their agenda, right? That's what Geeks and Gamers, Nerdotic, all these channels, ultimately, while they pretend to be nerds and care about nerd culture and care about all this kind of stuff, they're all just pushing the same white supremacist talking points on a regular basis.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/The Serfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Puppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincell, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.